10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
Manchester
1,
United have
0.
reached the promised land.
How are we doing, everybody? I'm so sorry for being 1 minute late. There was one comment there. Victor, you just start already. You should hurry up and start. I've got things to do. I'm busy. How are you all doing? Sam here, United People's TV. I'm late. Sue me. I wasn't getting a haircut. I got a haircut yesterday, though. Fresh, sharp. Unlike Manchester United's approach for Frenkie de Jong. Don't know what that segue was, but that's a segue I accidentally did. How are we all doing this morning? Yes, we're talking about Frenkie de Jong again, but we're speaking about one specific element of it, which I think has been the case the entire time. It's precisely why I've never done a video on alternatives for Frenkie de Jong. And it seems to be that was the correct thing to do. We're going to talk about Andy Mitten's column for GQ, British GQ magazine, and the fact that Frenkie de Jong is the only one who Erik Ten Hag is looking at. There is no plan B. There is no alternative. And I want to have a debate with you in the comments about that, because I think it's a really interesting one. A really interesting debate, no doubt. And we'll have that in the comments. We'll have that in the comments, and I'll interact and I'll engage and I'll answer as many of your questions as I possibly can throughout this entire stream, just like I do every single day. And who's down here in the comments? Anthony, good morning to you. I want goals. Awesome. Paula, Ray the Red, Pito Pavlo, not Pete Pablo, Pito Pavlo, Rego, John, Charlie Hughes, Rogerio, Simon Lathan, the Favix, Gene is here, Calvin Chu, good morning, Ben Bailey, Frenkie de Jong, there's 4 more times. Any more times you want to say it? It's almost, Ben, it's almost like he is and has been and will be the #1 priority. It's like, I know you don't like it. I know you don't like the fact that we haven't signed him yet, but I'm not going to ignore the elephant in the room. I'm also not going to try and spread, like, I don't know what word to use with it. Negativity, toxicity, but I will have intellectual, informed conversations with you on key points where we need to. And today is one of those key points. That's why I think so anyway. Because Frenkie de Jong, I mean, look, Kevin, I'm not saying that Andy's not the gospel, but Andy, editor of United We Stand, he's had close links with Manchester United for a long time. So I think it's valid to take a look at what he has to say. So let's get into this straight away and let's have a conversation. As I said, I'm basing this off Andy Mitten's column that he wrote for GQ magazine. And I think it's going to be a good one today. Well, I think it'll be an interesting conversation in the comments. Neil Anjan, I saw you. Let me read a couple of yours out. You said, I don't think Frenkie de Jong really wants to come. He wouldn't care about the money and leave after being horribly treated. It's not just about the money. I personally think you're completely and utterly wrong. I think it massively is about them. Neil Angela, I think it's because I saw one of your comments before saying, Frenkie de Jong's not to blame in this. He's just as responsible. Barcelona's job is working then. This is exactly what Barcelona want people to feel and want people to think. That all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Anaj, I can see you rejoining there as a member. Nice to see you there, buddy. All of a sudden, Frenkie de Jong's the villain here. Frenkie de Jong's a problem here. He's not the problem. He doesn't want to leave Barcelona. I think he's I don't think he wants to let go of his dream of Barcelona, but the dream's becoming a bit of a nightmare. It's like the upside down's kind of merging into the real world for him. And it's kind of, Barcelona's turning into a bit of a mind flayer. Vecna. Basically, Joan Laporta is Vecna. I don't know who the characters of Stranger Things would be if they were applied to Man United. That'd be a good conversation to do. But let me run through this article, right? I think it'll be an interesting conversation. Frenkie de Jong didn't. I don't know. I'm going to try not to argue with the comments too much this morning. I really am. But I feel like I might. Because it feels like a lot of you are just you're towing the line that Barcelona want you to tow. Frenkie de Jong has never mentioned Manchester United. He's only ever spoken about Barcelona. I think the last interview we saw from him was when he was away with Netherlands on international duty. I think that was the last one I can remember. He's now on pre-season tour of Barcelona, obviously. But Ricky, you're down here in the comments saying, look, I really feel for Frenkie de Jong. He's done no wrong. No. Loads and loads of people in the comment. No, they're absolutely. Frenkie de Jong has done a ton of wrong here. This is on. He's done no wrong. He's really done no wrong. But he's waiting to get paid before he leaves. He's waiting to get paid. That's what I want to run through. Anyway, enough distraction here. Shit, I shouldn't have done another video on de Jong. I think I'm going to start arguing with everybody because everybody's just. I don't know. I don't know how to describe the mood among United fans. I think United fans are offended that Frenkie de Jong won't come out and say, I want to join Manchester United, without taking a step back and realizing that that would completely blow his position of negotiation away. So look, it's lucky that you're not Frenkie de Jong's agents. That's all I'll say. Right, let's run through Andy Mitten's article here. Erik ten Hag, United's new manager, who's made a winning start, blah, 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 has made no secret of his desire to sign de Jong. We know that. Ten Hag wants de Jong because he sees him as one of the most complete midfielders in Europe. We know that. Better than anything that United have. Well, we know that. And someone who can impose his philosophy on the field. And I know that too. He knows he's a box-to-box player who has great positioning, movements in pockets of space. He arrives well from the second line towards the forwards, and there's nobody better to pick up the ball from the centre-backs to start the build-up play. And we know that too, right? But what I'm going to run through here are these few points here from Andy Mitten on de Jong and on the whole situation. Let me run through these and let's discuss it. The video, what you should have done. No, I don't think that is really worth anybody's time. And I want to explain that in this video. And I want to run through that. And that's what I want the debate to be. Because as I said, like that going back up to that comment there, video you should be doing is on Frenkie de Jong's replacements. Dude, I wrote that video 3 weeks ago. Did some research into it. I've had that video for a long time. But I've not done it at any point. Because I've just realised the Man United, we're not looking at anybody else. And Andy Mitten here sort of reaffirming that. Manchester United, and especially manager Erik ten Hag, wants the player. And the latter is prepared to be patient because he's central to his plans. There is no plan B. Just as there was no plan B when Barcelona... Why is there one fly? I've got one fly. Isn't it annoying when you get one fly? This dude's been... God damn it. This dude's been terrorizing me for like 12 hours. Little fucker. Sorry. Anyway, there is no plan B, and he's prepared to wait. Just as there was no plan B when Barcelona signed him from Ajax in 2019. They wanted de Jong and de Jong only. Now, this is what I want to get your opinion on. The idea of no plan B for de Jong. How does that sit with you? Because I was trying to think of some sort of analogy which would kind of tie it in. But I can't really think of one. And it's just the fact your opinion is going to be based on one of two things. It's either, yeah, I agree with the manager that, you know, don't go out and sign a player just for the sake of signing a player. Wait until you can get this player that you want and deal with it in the meantime. But the alternative is based on what we've seen for a lot of years at Manchester United. We've had Fred and McTominay starting in midfield. We've had Matic lasting for 30 minutes. We've had Paul Pogba. We know what our midfield has been like for a long, long time. And we're at the point now, the analogy I've always used is like when you go into a supermarket when you're stoned, you're like, everything just seems appealing. Everything would improve what we have. And yeah, Tielemans would improve what we have. Neves would improve what we have. I'm sure there are lots of other midfielders who would improve what we have. But Erik ten Hag does not care for any of them. He's so intensely focused on de Jong that there's no one else he wants to put inside there. And I tell you what, right? I kind of thought this was... Actually, no, I'll speak about this. I'll speak about that little point down there. I'll head down to your comments to read a few of your comments. If we don't get Frenkie de Jong, will we get Neves and Sangat? No, we're not. We're not going to spend that much money on alternatives. Absolutely not. Adnan, you're saying I think it's a bad idea having no plan B. Paul saying he's extremely well organised. If there's no plan B, it means he doesn't need a plan B. Let's go down here. Plan B is McFred. I mean, he said that he would rather develop from within. So he feels there's somebody inside that club who he can coach into being more of a Frenkie de Jong type player. But I tell you what, I kind of thought it was a supplementary signing when we made it. But there's every chance that maybe we've already got a bit of a plan B. That Christian Eriksen would be a more central figure for Manchester United, not literally on the pitch, just on the pitch, but more. He played far more for us next season than I think we gave it credit for. Because that's a possibility, right? There's no doubt, Bob, that you're right with this comment. And this is something I absolutely will agree with everybody. It's definitely a risk. But I tell you what would be more of a risk is the idea, like you go down here, for example, like this came out yesterday, right? Ben Jacobs, I think he writes for The Guardian. He's been on the Football Terrace a ton. What did you say? Man United's interest in Tielemans is genuine and growing, far cheaper than De Jong. Ten Hag's put him on a midfield shortlist, whilst at the same time, Andy Mitten is saying there is absolutely no shortlist. There is no alternative list. I imagine there's some sort of not emergency list, but there will be a list of names that Man United could identify. But it would just be sweeping the feet from Erik ten Hag if we were to go and try and do that and sign one without really him giving his blessing first. Let me go down here and read a few more of your comments. It's a risk, but you don't win games. I'm not gonna try and look for a massive positive of the fact that if we don't sign De Jong, it's all of a sudden going to be a good thing. It's not going to be a good thing. It really isn't. But I tell you what, it does go to show you how much self-confidence that Erik ten Hag has in his own ability as a coach. That he would genuinely rather just not sign an alternative and just wait. Because if we go this summer without signing De Jong, it means we're signing De Jong next. We will say it means we are signing De Jong, but we just don't know when. Eriksen could be alongside Bruno, could be effective. Like, of course he could be. Sam, you're saying, I think Frenkie de Jong has agreed to join Ten Hag on an agreed date, which only both of them know. I've told you, and I've reiterated that the whole way through. For a long time, I've just been saying, I don't care what anybody in the press says. It's obvious that De Jong has given direct assurances to Ten Hag, of which only those two will know the conversation. And those two will only know the conversation. But we wouldn't have gone this far down the line had he not got that. Luca Mora, it depends on your definition, my friend, because everybody can mistake confidence for arrogance, but confidence in your own self-belief, that's an important asset. It really, really is. I'm hearing that Christmas is coming in the comments again. I'm seeing here, and it's Sigmund, my friend. Sigmund the Big G. Santa Claus. Sigmund Claus. Go down there, gift him 5 memberships. Can you gift one to Frenkie de Jong? And I swear to God, this fly is going to get straight up murdered. He's trolling me. It's one fly. It's because I've had to close all the windows as well. But thank you very much, Sigmund, for that. Honestly. But yeah, if you fancy flying over there, give one to Frenkie and to his fiance as well. I'm so bored. I'm so bored of talking about De Jong, but I can't not talk about De Jong. I really don't, man. Because it's everything's revolving around it. The way I described it on the podcast this week was Manchester United, what Erik ten Hag has done this summer in rebuilding the club so far. With all the players that have left and the new players that have come in, he's like, we started to lay down. If you know that it's like one of those crystal maze things where you put down loads of little cogs and they all link up together, but there's one big cog missing in the middle, and that's what that's what Frenkie de Jong is. All these other cogs are starting to work in unison, but they need that one big cog in the middle just to tie it all together. That is what Frenkie de Jong is, and that's maybe what Christian Eriksen will effectively be. But United have never had a plan B here, not with Frenkie de Jong. And that's because we're backing our manager. We really are backing the manager in this situation. Dean, if we chase Frenkie de Jong, we play into Barca's hands. They want that. Barcelona really do not have any sort of... Barcelona are losing more and more negotiation power the longer this goes on. And Manchester United know that. Erik ten Hag knows that. No other club has come in for him. They tried to falsify some sort of bid from Chelsea this week, which did absolutely sweet fuck all. It didn't scare anybody. Everybody realized that that was pure spin. Anybody who like jumped on that, you're just feeding into the spin of what Barcelona want you to do. Spin, spin, spin. That's what Barcelona are trying to do. They're trying to create a bidding war when a bidding war doesn't exist. I do still find it very curious. That no other major clubs come in for Frenkie de Jong. I find that very strange. Ray, how you doing, buddy? He's saying Ten Hag knows what he wants in that central midfield position and should push for de Jong. Obviously, there have been talking between him and de Jong. Besides, de Jong is done at Barcelona. Even the fans want him out. Mo, you're saying down here, you're saying obviously de Jong doesn't want to come, so just get someone else. See, Salim, I always call you Mo. I know it's Salim. Salim, it's that exact point I so completely and utterly disagree with. Not wanting to leave doesn't mean you don't want to come. And that's still something that a lot of fans can't seem to get their head around. They're two distinctly different things. Really, really are. And I think at some point, I feel that Frenkie de Jong maybe has to mature a little bit. Maybe that's a harsh thing to say of somebody who's 25, he's about to get married. But it almost seems like he does it like he's refusing to let go of his dream, even though his dream is in flames on his hand. That's what it feels. I mean, ultimately, if these deferred wages didn't exist, I think this would already be done. I think de Jong would already be a Manchester United player. And that's the thing. De Jong would probably already be a Manchester United player if he had never taken a pay cut at Barcelona and he wasn't owed deferred wages. That's weird. When you honestly think about it, and you probably in your head go, yeah, you know what? I think you're right. So it's got nothing to do with him not wanting to come to Manchester United. It's the fact that he doesn't want to walk away. And I've told you the same thing. I've said that. If you gave up 65% of your wages over the last 2 years and your old boss came in with a nice new job, shiny new job, you wouldn't just walk away from your old one, no matter how tempted you were from the next one. Don, as I've said before quite a few times, he's just a nice guy, but he is a nice guy. I wouldn't let go of my dream if it was worth 17 mil. What's that up there? Stop sugarcoating English Sam. He doesn't want to come. He knows the stakes. He wants not a pay cut. Honestly, man, it staggers me. And this is the thing I've been trying to do the whole time. I think it staggers me how many people are misreading this de Jong situation. Massively misreading it. And just coming to the wrong conclusion. And that's probably why I will continue to do these de Jong videos, because I want to try and help United fans understand it. Man versus fly. I swear to God, this fly is going to get done from the top turnbuckle at some point. I need to get my little buzzer racket out. I can't get him. This fly, little bastard. Anyway, I might do an Instagram story about it. Neil, I wouldn't say this one's a great show, but per se, but I'm so tired of it. I'm so tired of having to explain it. But it's because, as I said, I feel so many of you are still misreading this situation massively. And it's really frustrating me. Trust me. I will call out when Manchester United are doing the wrong thing. But we've done all the right things here with de Jong. We've paid the price we wanted to. We've increased the price they wanted to. We gave an extra 10 mil. Effectively saying, come on, guys, just pay him what he's owed. There you go. Here's an extra 10 mil up front. Maybe Benzo. Maybe. And that's a fair point. Maybe my opinion is completely wrong here. And that's why I'll never dismiss opinions on here. But I will try and change them based on, not my opinion, but based on everything that I'm seeing in front of myself. I suppose it's down to how you interpret the news and interpret conversations and what's going on. It just seems like I think I'm interpreting it a little bit differently to some people. Santa, how you doing? Saying, isn't the other issue that Barca owe money to other players along with de Jong? If they pay de Jong, others will be demanding their own payments. I'm not sure on that. I know that Gerard Piqué took a pay cut. I don't know whether that was just the 12% pay cut in the first year. I don't know whether he took another one on top of that. Messi and Neymar are still fighting for their money. I mean, so maybe you're right down there. Maybe it's not just that. It's a bit like Alexis Sanchez getting a bigger contract at Manchester United. And then what happened after that? And Herrera demanded more money and we kicked him out of the club because we said, no, you're not getting it. Club will look silly if he doesn't come, though. Yeah, I think we will look quite silly. But it's because we're back in a manner. And it's the same. Like, it goes to the question of whether or not you think that we should just sign for the sake of signing. It's obvious that Ten Hag doesn't feel that we should sign for the sake of signing. He feels if we cannot get De Jong, if we cannot get the exact man I want, then I don't want anybody. I'll work with what I've got. That's how much I'm willing to wait for that. And in that sense, you've got to back your manager. Over here, Saint Romero says that if Barcelona activate their third lever, they won't have to sell De Jong. Is this true? Something everybody has to understand about these economic levers, whatever you call them, Barcelona getting their money in. All of these do not change their salary cap. Barcelona right now could go and raise £1.4 billion for selling someone's phone. But it wouldn't change their salary cap. They still would not be able to register their players. Lewandowski will not be able to play a game in La Liga. Rafinha will not be able to. They can play out in the preseason tour, but they will not be able to play for Barcelona in La Liga next season until they drop their salary cap. And the only way they drop their salary cap, well, we know that by now, getting rid of players. Coutinho's left. I think Dembele took a bit of a pay cut. And I'm sure they've got loads of others going on. But the reason that the De Jong situation is considered a double whammy is because they would get money in that could be spent at the same time as taking money off their salary cap bill. That's why he's a bit of it's just him. Down here, that it's a good question, Jake. And I think this is the question that a lot of United fans are asking themselves. I haven't lost faith in the fact that I think De Jong would be more than happy in Manchester, more than happy at Manchester United. I mean, you're hearing the dumb old stories now about his missus doesn't want to. She won't like Manchester. It's a bit rainy. It's not the exact same fucking climate as Amsterdam, where they grew up. I think she'd be absolutely fine. And Manchester has become, well, for want of a better phrase, it's the London of the North. You know, Media City's moved there. Lots of investment. It's a fucking cool place, Manchester, now. It really is. They'd be fine in Manchester. It's just, I'm bored of it. I'm bored of having to defend myself. It feels like I'm defending myself a lot. You see, Barcelona's not an honest club. They basically shipped him out the door by agreeing a fee. A decent team, but I don't know how they're legally not obliged to do it. Really, I really am not. Lots and lots of you mentioning Anthony in the comments. I've been pretty clear on what I think is going on with Anthony. And I think just stop wasting your energy. We're not spending 80 million euros on Anthony. All right. We're not. It's just not happening. And unless somehow Ajax massively reduce the price and the cost of Anthony, even though they've sold so many players this summer. It's weird. Let me see what you're all saying down here. Side, what you're saying. To be honest, I'm a bit frustrated. Focus on Neves or Tielemans. That's what I'm saying. So no, don't focus on Neves or Tielemans. Man United, over the years, the last 5 to 10 years, our hit rate on transfers, it's abysmal. It's probably somewhere in the 5 to 10% range. And by hits, I mean players who not only succeed at Manchester United, but maybe have a resale value on top of that. And if you so much wasted money at our club over the last however many years. And if you really think that because we can't sign De Jong, that we should go and spend 30, 40, 50, 60, hell, 75 million, 85 million euros on somebody else because we can't sign De Jong, it's a huge, that is just as much of a risk as not signing an alternative in the first place. But of course, it'll make you feel better because we've got a new midfielder. And obviously, if it's a new midfielder, it's going to be better than what we have. It's I don't know where I stand on it anymore. I really don't. Because I think we've done everything we need to do. We have. And we know that Barcelona's position of negotiation and power is diminishing by the day. Now, that's a good comment there from Fred, saying obsession can be dangerous. Of course it can. But I think what we're seeing here with Frenkie de Jong, and this is a good parallel, I think. What we're seeing here with Frenkie de Jong is absolutely reflective of Erik ten Hag's approach as a manager. No compromises. That's what Ten Hag is as a coach, has been a coach at Ajax, and is going to be a coach at Manchester United, and has been so far. I was going to run through this article in a bit, but I think it's a decent segue. No compromises. He wants De Jong and De Jong only. In terms of training, there's no compromises. You listen to me, you turn up late, you're going to get punished. You missed that goal, down and give me 10 press-ups. Purely no compromise type of manager. Well, that can work one of two ways. Of course it can. But Katie was at this. I couldn't disagree with this comment anymore. Unrealistic signings. How is it possibly unrealistic to sign a player who absolutely loves Erik ten Hag? See that? See his great comment there. Look, only 10% of you liking the video. Is it because you prefer the fly instead of me? I swear this fly. If I catch this fly on camera, it's going to be the best thing I've ever done on the internet. I won't though. But yeah, can you drop a like on the video if you can? I appreciate that maybe the content... He just hit me in the face. He's such a troll. I think he can hear me. It's like the cleverest fly in the world. I appreciate maybe this is a frustrating conversation for you this morning. I appreciate that maybe you're like, Sam, stop talking about De Jong. But it's like, am I really just going to ignore it then? I'm just going to sit there, just going to sit back and just watch it all and just not comment on it. No, I think that'll be the wrong thing to do. Go down here. Look, Leif, we can all put our football manager hats on and go, right, okay, so we've got 75 million. That's easy to spend 37 million euros on Ibrahim Sangare and then go and spend the rest on Houssem Aouar. Easy. Manchester United's midfield is sorted. I know more than Erik ten Hag, but you don't. I don't. None of us do. Erik ten Hag knows exactly what he wants. And as I said, in the same way there's no compromise with this, there's absolutely no compromise on Frenkie de Jong from Erik ten Hag. And whether you like it or not, I completely think this is true. The fact that Manchester United do not have a plan B. He's already said that he will probably develop from within if you can't sign the player. His words, not mine. He wants the player, the right player. He won't get distracted in anything else that's going on. Neves could do a job. Tielemans could do a job. But neither of them are De Jong. And therefore, Ten Hag's not interested in them. And I don't think that's going to change. Maybe I will. Maybe at some point in the next few days, I can do a video looking at 5 Frenkie de Jong alternatives. But honestly, when you watch that video, by the end of it, you'll just go, I mean, I understand now. There is no alternative. If I was to have a checklist of 10 boxes and I tick them all, nobody would hit the same 10 boxes that Frenkie de Jong does. Andreas, I think the fly... What's the name of the fly? I reckon that's Joan Laporta. He's on the wall. I haven't got a swatter, though. No. So calm down. I can't let this fly get the better of me. What's the name of the fly? Fly wants to join United. So yeah, Barcelona been cutting you wages, mate? Yeah, is that what it is? You're too bored sniffing around my bin. I think he's sticking his middle finger up at me now. The flies have fingers. Well, he does now. Little bastard. Fabian Ruiz of Napoli. He's one name I had on the list. Declan Rice. Well, Declan Rice is just too much, unfortunately. I know it won't change, but I do think Neves is just as good a fit as De Jong. I believe he offers everything De Jong does. Neves, trust me. I love Neves. But Neves is not everything that De Jong is. Neves is someone who's got he's got a bit more of an aggressive edge to him. He certainly will be better in terms of the ball winning department, and he can make from deep. But Neves isn't particularly the guy that, I mean, he can do. He's played in the midfield too alongside Martinho in that Wolves team for so long in a 3-5-2 formation. So he is used to bringing the ball out from the defence. But not on the same level. That's what I mean. You could spend 50 million on him, and it would just be like Ten Hag would be like, "Well, it's not De Jong, is it?" How many years have we had players who can do a job though? I'm tired of it. We need better than just good enough. If you ever want to, and that's a lot of what people say. Oh, we're Man United. We need the best in class. Now we're going after the best in class, and it's not an unrealistic signing. It's not like anybody who's trying to draw comparisons between De Jong right now and Di Maria from Real Madrid is a fucking idiot. And I'm sorry to swear at you, but you are. Anybody who tries to draw a comparison between Frenkie de Jong now and Fabregas with Moyes is an idiot. And I'm sorry, but you are. I don't think we ever got that close to agreeing a fee with Barcelona. We've already agreed the fee with Barcelona, funny enough, for Frenkie de Jong. But Di Maria quite literally never wanted to join Manchester United. He was never happy at any point when he came to the club. And the only reason he came to the club is because it was a stepping stone to PSG. And we knew that. Every single person knew that. And so it unfolded. It's nowhere near the same as De Jong. And I've told you, anybody who really at this point doesn't understand the fact that he doesn't want to leave Barcelona does not immediately translate to the fact that he doesn't want to join Manchester United. They're really, really, really different. They're really, really different. All right. What are we saying down here? How can Barcelona agree a fee with us and then have no? Hey, look, I don't know what they've done with that contract. I don't know how they've managed it. I don't know how they can get away with it, but it's a bit weird, and it doesn't really sit very well with me. I'll be honest. Barcelona are snaky. Andy, you're right. I'm fed up with it. I'll tell you who else is fed up with it as well. It's Ten Hag. And I'll tell you who else is fed up with it as well. Richard Arnold, John Murto. We've agreed the fee, man. United have done everything right. Agreed the fee. Agreed the add-ons. Increased our actual fee. Personal terms won't be an issue. We'll probably pay Frenkie de Jong what he's on at Barcelona, if not slightly more, because of how central it'll be to the plans. But that's where we're at. We're at negotiation position, and people still can't understand that. What are you saying? What you saying? Strongly disagree, says Holyford. We'll keep McFred for the next few years because our manager is so inexperienced that he can't work with anyone else. Conte wouldn't do this. Woof. Oh, dear. With that comment. What do I say to that? So you think it's down to inexperience? Right. I mean, it's not, is it? It's not down to inexperience. It's down to in fact, it's kind of the opposite. He's experienced and he knows exactly what works for him. So why is he going to divert from that? Because we don't want to see McFred. Fred, by the way, who's looked pretty damn good in pre-season. McTominay, who has looked like McTominay in pre-season. Really hope that James Garner plays against Aston Villa on Saturday. Really, really hope he does. Sam, chill. The ones pissing you off are the ones who are not Man United fans. No, it's just that fucking fly. It's that fly. Glenn. Is that the name? Is that the name of the fly? Glenn. He's called Glenn now. Even if that was something for someone else, it's Glenn. But I swear to God, this needs to end in Frenkie de Jong in a Manchester United shirt. And I'm throwing a party. I am throwing a party. Fred doing pretty well so far, indeed, for sure. But look, I try not to argue, or I don't mind disagreeing with you in the comments. That's the point. I don't dismiss other opinions because I think mine's more important than yours. It's not. Mine's just as important as your opinion. It's just I've got a microphone in front of me, so you hear my opinion a little bit more. This De Jong situation, trust me, I'm pretty sure this is gonna. I'll be so surprised now if this is sorted before our game against Brighton. I think we'll go into the season now with our transfer activity not finished. That is not particularly down to the fault of Manchester United. In terms of the attacker, I'm a little bit surprised that we've not had much more movement on that. We haven't really, have we? Last week or so, Ronaldo, I think it kind of all revolves around what happens with Ronaldo next week. I've told you, I think next week's going to be a bit of a big week of movement. Last week was absolutely pure madness. Absolutely madness. With everything that went on with Lisandro Martinez and Christian Eriksen, both were announced. and all the negotiations to and fro. It was crazy to cover. This week, it feels like the club has gone psh, just like let the air out the bus. You know when the bus pulls up to the bus pulls up and goes, let someone on, and then goes back up. That's what Man United are currently like that. They've let the air out the tires. No, not the air out the tires. Air out the... Oh, sod it. It's a crap analogy anyway. But next week, we're going to be full tilt again. I think we're going to hear a lot of news in terms of outgoings. And also when Ronaldo comes back or doesn't come back is when I think we're going to start getting real movement in terms of the attacker. Now, what I would like to ask you quick before we move on, this is going to be a good bit here. Make sure you drop a like on the video, please. I'm sure there are lots of you that join in. I apologize if me talking about De Jong is ruining your morning. It's frustrating me as well, trust me. But it's a conversation we need to have. The idea that we've got no plan B. Man United are backing their manager. And after years and years and years of just signing players, Donny van der Beek, the perfect goddamn example. We didn't need Donny van der Beek. We were all a bit like, I mean, it's a cool signing, but is that what we need? And lo and behold, it's been an absolutely naff signing up until this point. And there are so many signings that I can say that just haven't quite worked out. And Ten Hag is willing to back himself as a coach to develop and improve his current squad, and also at the same time, remember that we've got Christian Eriksen. And Christian Eriksen, I would put down as a Frenkie de Jong alternative, right? So I think the way I looked at next season in an ideal world, we'd sign de Jong, and then in games where de Jong may be slightly rested, Christian Eriksen can start inside that role. But maybe he's going to play more of a central role. 51 Triads, you joined as a member. Let me know where you're watching from, buddy. It's annoying. Stop talking about de Jong. What should I talk about then? I'll tell you what I'll talk about. Let's talk about training. Troy, big up to Troy out there representing United People's TV in Perth. He was at the open training session and got a couple of training videos. And there was one training drill in particular. I think it's this one here. Is it that one there? This one here, which I quite enjoyed. It's, you know, the drills that we've been covering here on United People's TV with the passing, the one-touch football. It seems like Man United have sort of elevated that up to a little bit. And they've included balls, which kind of sounds weird, but they put balls on top of cones. So instead of it just being purely about speed, I think Man United are now trying to introduce an element of accuracy into the training too. Have a look and listen to this. Yeah, so I found that one quite interesting. Big up to Troy for going there. But what's your take on, you know, how the preseason's gone so far? I've enjoyed it. I keep saying it. Every time I do one of the videos, it puts a big smile on my face. I'm so loving the fact that the most successful videos on United People's TV have got nothing to do with transfers. You know how satisfying that is? Because it shows that people out there want to enjoy some good content. And I'm a big fan of good content. And I'm not saying that good content doesn't exist when it comes to transfers, but sometimes transfers can be the low-hanging fruits. That's what I call them. Everyone here is talking about Stewie. Yes, Stewie, gifting 5 memberships. What a G. Thank you very much, my friend. Honestly, the generosity on this channel over the last few years. Man, I'll tell you what, Ant, look, where is it? Oh, damn it, too many comments coming in. Frenkie de Jong would be crying in a corner, wouldn't he? If he was out there in training. Because it's raining. He doesn't like it. Imagine thinking that's the truth. I really am. I'm honestly, Fred, I'm an absolutely abysmal human being. Bit like that fly. But I am. Big up to you, T, my friend. I got Brett. Oh, mate, very nice. Very nice. I couldn't apply for that away because I paused my season ticket last year in protest of the Glazers. And I now have to wait until the first cup game before I can apply for aways again. I think that's how it works. Bastards. Let's have a look what you're saying down here. Oh, look, I completely know that. I understand that. everybody with a couple of brain cells up there, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but he literally grew up in Amsterdam. I swear it rains probably just as much in Amsterdam as it does in Manchester. If not, actually, it probably doesn't rain as more than it does in Manchester, that's for sure. But look, that training drill video, yeah, as I said, I think it's a bit of an elevation on where we were in week 1 to where we are now. I think the preseason, as I said, these first 3 games, I've tried not to get ahead of myself, and I will try to remember, and I will be completely grounded because they are preseason after all. But mate, it's each game goes by, and you're going, okay, that's built on the last game, that's built on the last game, and that's built on the last game, and I'm enjoying it so far. Aston Villa, we've been told it's going to be the biggest test of the preseason so far. Looking forward to it. Then I'm looking forward to seeing that. Then of course we've got Atletico Madrid a week later in Oslo. Then we've got Rayo Vallecano a day later. 2 games in the space of 24 hours. It's going to be interesting to see what starting 11s Erik ten Hag puts out there, especially for his first game at Old Trafford. Which is going to be the most important game? I'm not sure. It's going to be interesting. We see what you're all just saying down here. Saying how annoying the fly is and how angry it makes you, Sam. It must be a Glazer. Or it's just like, it's an embodiment of the Frenkie de Jong transfer. It's right there. I can't quite touch it. No, actually, no, I don't want to kill it. I don't want to kill Frenkie de Jong. That's true. Let me see what else is saying down here. I'll answer a few more of your questions again. Anybody who's got any questions you want to ask me, I'll answer them now. It's a little bit of a different show here today. As I said, I did not want to do... I sat there this morning for about half an hour, 40 minutes, deciding on what the leading story would be. I don't just see one story and go, that'll do. I sit there every morning for about 45 minutes to an hour and I research it all. And I was like, oh, fucking hell. I'm going to have to talk about Frenkie de Jong again, aren't I? So trust me, I'm equally as frustrated about this as you are. But we can't just ignore it. You can't. And I'm really not surprised that Erik ten Hag has no plan B. Now, again, you can interpret that news differently if you'd like to. You can interpret the news that maybe we're going after Tielemans. But I really think if that was the case, you really think we would have waited this long before we'd done anything like that? I don't personally think so. Roger, you're saying that Erik ten Hag worked wonders with the youth team of Bayern. Go ahead, Utrecht and Ajax. Every club he has been, I trust the process. There are some absolutely fantastic young kids coming through. There's nobody particularly in that Frenkie de Jong role. Zidane Iqbal looks like a baller. Charlie Savage. I like the look of Charlie Savage. I really, really do. I think he's really impressed me. If I'm looking at a sort of midfielder that I think can do a job next season. But it's not fair, and it's not fair, and it's unrealistic to think that we can rely on Iqbal and Savage breaking through to sort our midfield issues next year. We know that. Who else do you think will be shown the door before the season starts? Andy says, I think Jones is going to be gone. I think Brandon Williams will be loaned. I think Ahmad might be loaned. I would rather Ahmad got sent out on loan before Pelistri. But then there's still plenty more. Ethan Lair getting linked with Ajax. I ran through it yesterday. There's like 8 or 9 or 10 players, really. Looking good so far, says Neil, but not getting carried away. Long way to go, of course. And Daz, yeah, this is something that we noticed at the start. Not at the start of something, but quite early on. He doesn't care about signing an actual central defensive midfielder at all. And you're saying that why are you all so glum, guys? Everybody, I think I've definitely been partly responsible for this because I've said it would be a failure this summer if Manchester United don't sign Frenkie de Jong, no matter what happens. And I had an argument with Matt on the podcast this week about it. And I was just explaining, it's unfair of me to say it will be a failure because I think Eriksen coming in, I think Malacia coming in, I think Martinez coming in, all excellent signings in their own rights. And the players that have all left, Pogba, Cavani, Mata, Matic and Lingard. By the way, Lingard, this is the last time, hopefully, that I will mention his name on this podcast, on this show, right? It's almost like every Man United fan was completely and utterly correct in where we were questioning where Lingard's priorities lay. Expectation at the moment is that Lingard goes to Forest. They've offered him more than West Ham. Deal was not yet confirmed. And proof in the pudding. Jesse Lingard would rather turn his back on West Ham, where he absolutely thrived on loan, and just go to newly promoted Forest, who are probably going to be in a relegation scrap, simply because he wants more money. We were all completely and utterly correct to question Lingard's priorities and where his focus was, because his head was not in the right place. And I'll be honest, I think a lot of that is coming from the people who are around him, rather than specifically Jesse Lingard himself, although he's probably part and parcel of it all now. But that's the last time we're going to mention it. I'm saying it's a bit poetic, isn't it? He's going to go and have a little relegation push. You enjoy that, my friend. You enjoy that. Go down here and see what else you're saying. Yeah, Nev, for sure, we do need an attacker. Don't know whether it's going to be a striker, but we need an attacker. We go down here and see what else you're saying. Sam, if we don't get De Jong, who do you play where? Frenkie de Jong from the club. I have no idea what you mean with that comment, Neil, because yeah, I've got no idea what that said. Martinez work permit done now. Not sure. Hopefully we get the official announcement on Martinez this week. It'd be nice to see him in a United shirt. Nice to see him. He'll join up. Next week, we're going to be getting the first pictures of... Yeah, next week's going to be a cracking week. I think this one's just a calm. After last week, everything's calmed down a bit this week, and I think we all needed it, didn't we? I'm going to wrap this one up. That was a that fly sort of embodied that stream, really. Trust me when I say I spent like 20, 30 minutes trying to find a different headline because I didn't want to focus on De Jong today. But it really is the main focus right now. There's not really much to speak about. You can talk about Tielemans if you want, but it's pretty much hot air at the moment. So I'm not going to feed that, because then all of a sudden you're going to get frustrated at me because we haven't signed Tielemans. And I'm like, there is no alternative. It's De Jong or bust. That's what Ten Hag is saying. And this is Ten Hag who's been saying this, right? Not the club. Regardless how much we want De Jong, at least for a facade, we should have opened dummy negotiations with similar players. Barca know they have us cornered. Barca don't have us cornered, Jibak. We've literally agreed a fee with Barcelona. There is no cornering to be had. There is no facade or dummy negotiations that we need with anyone. We've already sealed the deal with Barcelona. This is all down to Barcelona's internal prospects and their money situation. So United will gain no power in any negotiation with De Jong because all of a sudden we're interested in Neves or Tielemans. That's why I think so anyway. Fred, I thought this was you because basically no one else has it. Thank you very much for that, my friend. But I can't exactly particularly wear it on camera because it would massively go against everything I stand for in terms of the Glazers. But thank you very much for that. Look, man, I'll wrap it up today. I'm going to stop reading the comments. I'm going to stop getting angry. Today's video, by the way, I think you're really, really going to enjoy this one. I'm going to be doing a bit of a tactical analysis, looking at Martinez's performances against Haaland and Núñez. They're the two main strikers that our rivals have signed. So I want to do a video on that. I think you'll enjoy that one. And look, then we're not going to be talking about De Jong, and you won't bite my head off. But anyway, thank you very much for joining in this morning. Thank you all for your comments. I know, trust me, you're equally as frustrated as I am. I don't want to come with these De Jong headlines anymore. Maybe I've got to get a bit more creative and try and avoid the De Jong conversation. I will try and do that as much as possible. But after that article from Andy Mitten, I felt like obliged that we should have a conversation, because I've been reiterating for a long, long time that there is no plan B. And Andy Mitten's saying the same thing now. So that's why we had a conversation today. But make sure you drop a like on the video. Thank you all for joining in. Thank you, Stu. Thank you, Sigmund, for gifting memberships to the community. Thank you for everybody else who joined in. And I'll see you soon. Apart from that fly's going to get it.